So that's what I like about these ads is it's the owners that are reaching out. And I could probably have made it work to a certain extent, but now after using this system for lead generation, that looks like a lot of work. And I'm impressed with how all the leads are
Hmm.
within, I'd say 90% of the leads are within an hour and 30 minutes of my location, which is
Good.
very good.
Kind of requested we do this interview, Ben, is just because like you've been, let's say, a model client, if you will, right? You had
Yeah,
some
awesome.
early success. You're always you were quick to adopt the platform. You're always like easy to get a hold of. Um, you ended up sending over a couple referrals, three at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
And we got a testimonial out of you too, so that's amazing. Um, and I was just kind of curious about, well, I guess how have you found everything so far?
Um, Generally overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with it.
Hmm.
I know right now I'm caught up about as much as I've been ever.
Okay.
Actually, I could see how many appointments. I think I only have like four or so appointments currently that I have to go
Hmm.
like meet clients for the first time, which is the lowest it's been basically since we started running these ads, which
Yeah.
is, but overall, as far as, um, I love it because I know you guys are working in the background trying to get guys committed that are still kind of questioning maybe what we do. They
Hmm.
might not be fully committed, and that's kind of nice to know that you guys might be working in the background to try to set up an appointment with those guys.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm super happy with it for sure.
Good. Okay, I'm very glad to hear that. And early on, you had some success, right? You said within the first like month and a half, you closed $250,000 worth of jobs. Is that right?
Yeah, that was actually it was crazy. I closed on a big, well, it might not be big, but it was 26,000 square feet of an MR job that we actually finished that project just last week.
Hmm.
And about a week later, we closed another one that was similar to that, but not quite as big. We're actually on that project at this time.
Oh, very
Um,
good.
Plus, we also closed on several foam jobs at that time,
Hmm.
um, where we end up coating it with foam and then spraying foam and then coating that. But it slowed down the last month, and I think part of that is because I got so busy um, going out, uh, meeting customers and writing up estimates, and I was not uh, reaching back to the customers, and touching back with them.
Right.
And I'm trying to get a handle on that now to where I can manage that a little better. It basically comes down to yeah, trying to manage that. I have some, see, I just started this business in
Hmm.
February. So with starting the business, trying to learn everything that goes with that, integrate everything that goes with that, you know, uh, getting employees started.
Hmm.
I actually have Elias helping, which he's had several years experience in the application process. So that takes a huge load off of me. So with him kind of managing the projects,
Hmm.
um, so that took some pressure off me. Um, so now it comes down to a few more things that I need to figure out, manage a little better. But it's definitely getting better. I'm definitely figuring out how to manage the leads, following up with customers.
Mm,
That's a huge part, following up with the customers, making sure that I understand what they're looking for, um, and let them know that, that's my concern, basically.
got you. Yeah, so that was kind of another question I had. You said lately it's been a little slower, and then to a degree that's kind of in the like the following up. So tell me, what's kind of the difference between, when you were doing super well off the start, it was super hot, and then obviously you closed those big jobs, and the difference then in your follow up, and I guess now, or just like
Yep.
best practices really
Yep.
in your experience.
Sure. So what I know is huge. Um, I was super excited going in this, and that probably showed a little more at first.
Hmm.
Um, I think that might be a huge part of it. So how to how to be excited about our product and showing that to the customer, I think is um probably see it kind of wore off after, after I got so busy, I kind of lost focus on that. And I
Hmm.
think that might be a big part of it right there.
Right. That makes sense. What were you doing? Like, did you kind of have a set process before when you were following up, or is it just you were just kind of excited about it, so you were a lot more keen to
Yeah,
go ahead and reach back out?
probably. Yep. Not
Yeah.
a set process. I was trying to figure out that process during the whole time,
Right.
just doing what I thought might work and what I might be able to integrate full time.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it was just starting this up, trying to figure out what works for me and what does not, and trying to, yeah. So I think trying to get back to uh, getting more personal with the clients, reaching out to them more
Hmm.
is the key for sure.
That's the angle. Yeah. I know. Well, I know the business is new. I think like part of what we're doing over here, and like what I think is, I guess, best practice as you kind of get more into it, is you take
Yep.
those, like, that anecdotal evidence, how you've done things in the past, and
Mm-hmm.
when you find out what works, you kind of the best bet is to go ahead and like actually systematize that. Um, so for instance, obviously off the start, you were super excited to go ahead and get everything going, and you're following up a bit more, and now lately you've done it less so, and the
Yep.
results kind of like track. Um, but I think like if you can put together like it's called an SOP or a standard
Mm-hmm.
operating procedure, and go ahead and systematize that. And you know what? You can actually tell us too, because we can set up some automations to actually notify you. Hey, like if you have an appointment on a certain day, after the appointment, you say what happened on it. For instance, if you like,
Yeah.
you gave them a quote and you need to follow up, we can actually automate a lot of the
Yeah.
notifications to you so that you follow up at like certain intervals.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and that's an awesome idea. My struggle has been, I would set tasks for that. I would set reminders, and I can do that. I
Mhm.
can I can set a reminder that will be sent to me 4 days after I send an estimate.
Mhm.
But then my problem is I ignore the task, and then I
Mm,
have a bunch of those piled up.
right.
So setting those automations is great, but I guess it comes down to me being um, disciplined in my on my end to follow up
Yeah.
and do my job.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I think a lot of us struggle with that. So
Yeah.
you're not alone in that regard, but I agree. Um, yeah. So, and then I know that obviously you've sent us a couple referrals, or sent a couple referrals our way there. How did you go about getting these guys to, I don't know, just sharing your experience with them and got them interested, or like how did that go?
Yeah, basically just I just kind of shared how it's working for me, and basically just shared my experience with you guys, shared the numbers, shared how it's been working. And I know, because it was a new business, I didn't have any established customer base when I started out with you guys. So I'm sure that might have made it probably caused it to be more of an impact for
Mhm.
me than it might be for someone that's been already has a business and has a customer base, has a footprint already.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, I had started cold calling, just going out, knocking on doors, dropping off brochures and business cards. Um, and I could probably have made it work to a certain extent, but now after using this system for lead generation, that looks like a lot of work to
Yeah.
go out and to go out and drop cards off because I mean this to me this creates more of an organic lead maybe
Mhm.
where the client actually acted first. Like we're putting it out there, of course, but then
Yeah.
he's acting on that versus meeting a guy and saying, "Hey, um, would you be interested in what we have to offer?" That's putting more pressure on them to act. And so to me, that this lead has more value because there was not as much pressure on them to
Mhm.
react as it would be versus a personal call,
Right.
personal stop.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's kind of nice being able to go ahead and call those warm leads that have already filled out their information for you, as
Hmm.
opposed to just the cold calling. We've been in the
Exactly.
same boat ourselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than the cold calling, was this like the first marketing method that you had tried?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
It's, it's obviously been successful so far. Good.
Yeah.
Um, Excellent. So, um, I mean, from when you started, what, 3, 4 months ago?
Yeah, it was when you mean when we started with the ads?
When you started the business, I'm
We
curious.
started the business in February, early February, and then we
Okay.
started the ads in early April.
Okay. And then, what I guess you've been scaling up since then. And then what kind of is the goal for the short term here?
So for this year, my goal is to be well. See, I'm a Conklin distributor,
Yep.
so in Conklin you get a volume, you get a lot of benefit if you get to certain volume. So my short-term goal is to get preferred contractor in Conklin, which is 170,000, I think 175,000 in volume
Hmm.
that I have to purchase from them in product.
Gotcha.
That would get me to preferred contractor, which would give me a much better discount for the following year. So we are currently um, on pace to meet that probably within a month.
Excellent.
Um, yeah. So the cutoff, I think, is August 31st is when the new year starts. So I have till August 31st to meet that. Uh, and we're on pace to do that. So um,
Perfect.
yeah, I'd say that's probably the number one for goal for this year, short term goal.
Got you. And then I know Conklin has a pretty powerful referral system as well. Have you been utilizing that to the same
I
degree you
have
have with
not.
ours?
I have
Yeah.
not
Okay.
much, and that's another. I want to focus on that at some point, but I've been
Yeah.
kind of busy trying to get this business established.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Sure.
That makes sense. Um, yeah, that makes sense. And then, yeah, I mean, you've sent a couple our way. And so, I mean,
Yep.
your marketing, you're only paying 40% of the actual retainer now. So, that's great, I
Nice.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because of the referrals. Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you can find those guys for our system, I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to kind of recruit some more to the Conklin as well. So as you're scaling up the actual coatings business, you get like those two. I guess you get a bunch of partners in that regard. Um, And then, yeah, as you continue to grow, I know you're doing your personal Facebook page now as well, so that you can like
Hmm.
scale up with kind of teach
Yeah.
guys codings as well as you've got the professional page for people actually interested in your coding service. So I think you've got like a powerful system there. And then
Yeah. So was it you I was speaking to the other day? I can't remember if it was you or Devin. I get mixed up, but about which page to use for what.
yeah, that's right.
Uh,
That was me.
okay, yeah, that was an awesome take. I loved it. It was just put it you were able to break it down so I could envision it very well. So, but I haven't
Yeah,
used it yet, but definitely my plan going forward.
yeah, perfect. And then that kind of exhausts the majority of the questions that I have for you. One thing that I'd like to end with is kind of obviously you've got a good feel for the system, you've tested it all out and everything like that, and you know how it all works. Is if there's anything that we could add to it that might benefit you that you could think of,
Hmm.
what might that be?
I did think about discussing with you guys, maybe do some to try to help me build my team, Conklin team,
Mm,
like try to
gotcha.
recruit others to train them
Mm,
into a Conklin and like to maybe existing roofing, maybe that are already in residential roofing that are considering want more,
mm,
but just haven't, figured out how. And if commercial, somebody that's already doing residential roofing and they're looking for more, this is a
mm.
perfect next step for them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have considered seeing if you guys are interested in doing something like that, or is that something that um yeah, wouldn't really work with your system?
Yeah, I'd be certainly open to exploring some possibilities there. We do work with like a ton of Conklin people, and we have lots of connections in the space, right? So there are some options. And then, yeah, I mean, I could put you in touch with some other guys too. Like I know that we talk to Andy a lot,
Hmm.
and he's pretty big in the space, and then he's recruiting people to his team. I know that
Yep.
there's even people above Andy in Conklin itself, but that would definitely be something we'd be open to exploring for sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mm,
It's just I haven't been able to focus on it. I have to at some point I want to, and just have
yeah.
to figure it out at that point. But no, I'm really happy with what you guys are doing. Um, I was at one time there. Somehow I must have accidentally got on a three-way call with, like, I got on the call with a customer and one of your guys was on as well. So I was
Right.
listening to them. It was kind of interesting,
Yeah.
but to know that there's somebody reaching out to them, I think that helps. It takes that off me to when I
Yeah.
see a new lead to try to connect with them and see what they're looking for.
Yeah. That's what we try to do. If we can, obviously the idea is to try and get you as many jobs as we possibly can, but we also want to like minimize the headache because
Yeah, for sure.
obviously with more leads, there's going to be more headaches. That's just how it goes. So
For sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we built out the call center.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And
So yeah, one thing I have, I don't know if it's just me, my imagination, but it seems I'm almost as if at one point it almost seemed as if the leads were not the quality they were at first. But
Mhm,
once I sat down and looked at them,
mhm,
I don't think that's the case because I'm also getting the quality leads. There might be more others that I have
mhm.
to filter out because of the volume,
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think I think the quality is still pretty good as far as the leads that I'm getting.
Yeah. I mean, it's Facebook, right? It's going to fluctuate a little bit, and
Yeah.
we'll get some extras that we're not necessarily interested in, but as long as we still
Hmm.
are getting those big ones that, you know, that are worthwhile and worth following up on, that's kind of what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
We do like we filter out with the targeting and then also with our ad copy. and then the video itself. And then we've got once like that call center that you were just talking about, once we hop on the phone with them, we'll filter a lot of those guys out too.
Gotcha.
I'm okay with, getting some of those guys as long as we're also getting, the big fish.
For
That's
sure. Yep.
uh,
I agree. I agree with you 100% on that. And I'm impressed with how all the leads are
mhm.
within, I'd say 90% of the leads are within an hour and 30 minutes of my location, which is
Good.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I did get a few that were um further away. I actually got one from Utah. It
Oh,
was
interesting.
it's a nice roof. I'm still communicating with him.
Yeah.
Um, be a fun job to do, but
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's a long ways off. But
Yeah. It'll happen from time to time. I
yep,
mean, I've probably told you before. It's just we've got like the advertising radius, but if somebody kind of like filters through, maybe they're catching a flight, whatever it is, and then they see your ad, they
yeah,
might
for sure.
pull up kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah. But definitely the quality of the leads are I cannot complain about that. The
very good.
So we did one project for they're a shipping company,
Hmm.
and it was a warehouse that we restored for them.
Hmm.
So he told me after we were done, he said he's got another roof for me to look at. It was a smaller repair job that I have to actually go look at now. I'm hopefully I can get to that this afternoon or tomorrow. But he said this building that we restored is not even part of their warehousing. He said they own 2 million square feet of warehousing for their shipping business,
Well,
but they also have another million that they rent out, which this was part of that. So,
interesting.
this guy, so that's what I like about these ads is, it's the owners that are reaching out
Hmm.
versus, cold calling. You might be stopping and you might be reaching the receptionist or the maintenance guy if you are successful. But then
Hmm.
they have to go to the owner and say, hey, we see this product might be something you need to check out. But here we flip that around and it's the owner saying, hey, here's something, maintenance. What do you think about this? Which I
Right.
think adds value to the lead as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's ideal. Um, that's kind of just like goes with the targeting that we kind of utilize.
Hmm.
Now, did you talk to this guy about that extra 3 million in roofing? Would he be interested in working with you on some of that, or?
Well, we already did some of that.
Yeah.
I have to look at another one right now. I'm not sure when I'll get to it, but I have to go. He's got a leak that we're gonna fix for him probably.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool.
So yeah, for sure.
That's off to a good start. Then, if you can, like, yeah, kind of maintain that, then when it comes time to actually go ahead and code it, you've got. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a sizable
it's.
job, obviously. Of
I'm sure it's multiple buildings, so
course.
it's just gonna be. It might be a small one here, a bigger one there, or it's just stuff that's gonna have to be done over the
Mhm.
years. So a lot of long-term work. Hopefully, if we can show him. We've done one building. He sees the quality of the product. I know he's impressed with it.
Mhm.
So yeah, um, it's a very good start, I'd say.
Well, excellent. Have you are you finding that there's many connections so far where you're kind of building I guess relationships with these guys, or
Yeah.
how's that work?
So far, all the projects we've started are
Yeah.
done. The guys are impressed. They're like, and we've done small residential buildings as well, which that's kind of you don't get a lot. We're never going to get a lot from that, but
Mhm.
everybody's been super happy with what we've done, like the product we use, the system we use. It's, it's it's everybody really likes it, and I think they're committed to it. Yeah, for sure.